Hello everyone, I'm Sylvia from Fairlight Tarot. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to have a look at a few tarot to be paired with the Oracle Connected and Free by Inner Hue. First pairing we're going to have a look at is a bit of an obvious choice. It's with the Lumina Tarot, which is also by Inner Hue, the same author of the Connected and Free. Now just a bit of rumors that I heard about these decks. These decks are indie. This version of the decks is an indie, but I heard sometime last year that there was going to be an English version mass market. Now these decks are amazing. The color palette is, as you can imagine, very similar. They have been designed to be used together. They have the same kind of vibe, the same use of the kind of a minimalist style. Sometimes you see frequently some black and white cards with splashes of colors here and there. And I have to say that it's just incredibly beautiful the way that these two decks talk to each other. But let's have a look. So we've got Heart with the Magician and the Seven of Pentacles. As you can see, the Connected and Free has got all the chakra cards as well. It depends on you. Sometimes I hear people removing the chakra cards when they do some sort of a reading, like in this case, for example, the way I usually do, using the oracle in the center and the tarot cards on the sides. I generally read the oracle card first, and then I look at the tarot cards to understand where do I need to find the message specified by the oracle. So for example, in this case we've got birth. So where do I need to look for birth? It's with the Hangman and the Five of Wands. To me, this signifies that birth, so it's a new beginning, it's a transformation, it's something completely new that it's coming to light. As you can see, it's a seedling, is to be had whenever we change our perspective. So we change our perspective, we change our view on things, and there's going to be something new that will come up to the surface, perhaps resolving a situation of current conflict, for example. Opportunity between the Knight of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups. Whenever there's a smaller kind of spread like this, or in this case only 2 tarot cards and 1 oracle card, I tend to read the core cards for their energy, for the archetype that they embody, and not necessarily as people. So in this case, the Knight of Pentacles is the soldier, the one that proceeds with extreme care and always brings everything to term. So I see the opportunity between this doubling down on your task, this dedication to fulfill your task, as something that can eventually take you away from a situation that you perceive as broken. Or endings between the Two of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles. Perhaps in this partnership you need to take a bit of a step back. You need to close the door for the time being on this relationship, on this partnership, because you need to focus on your task at hand. High flying between the Nine of Pentacles and the Six of Cups. Pleasure and pain between the Temperance card and the Devil card. Now this is an incredibly beautiful combination, because it looks almost like the oracle card in this case is split into 2. So you need that kind of balance brought in by Temperance between what's positive and what's negative, between the pleasure and pain, which is basically the whole meaning of the Devil card. We've got transition between the Sun and the Ten of Wands. This transformation that is at hand right now for you comes in joy. It comes at a period of time in which you definitely feel like you're overwhelmed, you're taking on too much upon yourself, but this has brought to you the opportunity to change the situation and bask into the light. Elixir between the Ten of Cups and the Nine of Wands. In some cases, also pay attention to the elements or the symbols that are in the Oracle and in the Tarot cards. This mortar and pestle, for example, reminds me a lot of the cups in the Tarot, in the Ten of Cups. It is a beautiful union when you can find echoes and resonances between the Oracle card and the Tarot cards. I always read any kind of combination and also any kind of spread between any kind of Oracle or Tarot cards. I always read them as a conversation. I strongly believe that Tarot and Oracle cards are there and they're talking to you, they're actually speaking to you, but you need to listen and enjoy the conversation. Be in the scene, be in the moment, enjoy the messages that they deliver to you. So spiritual suffering between the Four of Cups and the Hermit. It looks like this situation of consolidation that comes after the growth of the three is in the suit of the emotions, in the suit of the feelings, has become a bit of a stagnation. So there has been a bit of a lag, a bit of a restlessness in your feelings, and which is obviously you feel hurt, you feel that you are thirsty for something new, something different, something that will bring you nurture, something that will give you nourishment. Perhaps you need to step away from the situation to find a solution and do some soul searching. Storytelling between the Four of Wands and the King of Pentacles. So how beautiful the way these two decks talk to each other. In this case, for example, the stars is represented by a lack of color in the middle, whereas the sacral chakra is the opposite. So it looks like the colors are completely reversed. There is color in the middle, there is emptiness around it. To me, it means that the sacral chakra is occupying the place in the middle of the star where the color is not. So receiving frequency with the Four of Pentacles and Seven of Cups. And last one, this is one of my favorite cards, by the way, responsibility. It gives you this idea of reaching for the moon, but the step ladder it looks almost impossible to climb, because it goes up to infinity and then at a certain point it reaches the moon. So it gives you the idea that yes, you can reach for the moon, you can ask for the moon, you can do what you want. And when it's responsibility between the Ace of Swords and the Fool, it really gives you that idea of a new project, something new that you're starting. You're taking responsibility for your own wellness, perhaps, for your own peace of mind, because the Ace of Swords is related to the suit of mind. And it gives you the idea that there will be also the responsibility, but also a side of play to it, because of the innocence of the Fool. Now, this beautiful pairing is between the Connected and Free Oracle and the Lumina Tarot, birthed by Inner Hue. So the next tarot deck that I'm going to pair with the Connected and Free Oracle is the Bindor deck by Leah Pantea. This is the first edition. I think that that's out of print. However, the creator has released a second edition, which is, I think, still in stock in a few suppliers. The second edition is borderless, by the way, but I actually don't mind these kind of borders because the white of the borders is the same white of the subject, let's say, of the cards, and it doesn't look like a border to me. It looks like it's just simply a continuation after the line. Now this deck is amazing because of the way it uses the absence of color and the presence of color, and most of the time there is just one simple line, although sometimes we can see some shading here and there, but most of the time there is no contour line, and it's just given by the colors. You see, for example, in this star, I think these two pair really well together, but let's have a look. So we've got fear between strength and the star. Higher knowledge between the hermit and the empress. That's amazing. Obviously, when we step away for a moment to do some soul searching, tapping into our own intuition, we achieve that higher knowledge that is so important for the empress. To feeling and fall between justice and the Nine of Wands. You are exactly where you need to be between the Hanged Man and the Ten of Wands. That looks like a bit of a difficult situation. It feels like you're probably taking on too much on yourself, and you're doubting yourself. You're doubting whether you should eventually take a different perspective and abandon perhaps the load that you've taken on. But the Oracle is actually telling you, no, for now you're still where you need to be. So just hang in there. There will be an end to all this, but for now you really have to stay where you are. Intuitive and psychic prowess between Temperance and the Two of Pentacles. Maybe it's a choice between two qualities. So which one do I need to listen to more? So this intuitive side of things, this is psychic side of things. And Temperance is a card that resonates for sure. It's a reinforcing card for the Two of Pentacles because Temperance is the card of balance. Sun's rays between, well, the shadow. Basically this is the Devil card, but in this deck is called the Shadow, and the Three of Pentacles. In order to defeat the shadow and bring back the warmth and the light of the sun's rays, you need to rely on the partnership on your team. So we've got Think with Your Heart between the Three of Wands and Death. Fun between the World and the Chariot. By the way, 2023 is the year of the Chariot for everyone, and it seems to be telling you to have some fun after the 3 years we just spent, you know, cooped up inside, scared of everything, scared of interacting with others. It feels like the moment has come for everyone to actually go outside, reconnect with nature, reconnect with people. Connections is, I believe that where the Chariot is concerned, the key word for 2023 should be connection, in the sense that there's always that motion in the Chariot, and it's a motion of going back to what we belong. It's not a Chariot is not a motion that takes us away. It's a motion that brings us back together. Such a beautiful card, this one, the standstill between the Ace of Wands and the Five of Pentacles. Be you between the Fool and the Page of Cups. such an amazing way to pair up these cards, because the Page of Cups has got what looks like two whales. I think they are blue whales in a fishbowl. And this one is obviously not a whale, but it's a fish, and it's got more or less the same position as the whales. And it reminds you that this be you, this message of be the kind of carefree person that steps into the void because they want to start something anew, they want to be in a new adventure, they want to have that kind of free spirit that gives them the courage to start something. So be yourself. Family between the Magician and the Ace of Cups. Beginnings between the Sun and the King of Cups. Healing between the Tower and the Four of Swords. Perhaps after this moment of disruption, you really need to take a break and focus on yourself in such a way that this kind of rest will definitely recharge your batteries and represent some kind of healing for you. Expectation between the Six of Pentacles and the Five of Swords. Be careful about this situation in which you are actually expecting a bit of a, let's say, equal giving and receiving. You do feel as if you are at the same level, on the same page as someone else. Perhaps there's a partnership in a project in which you are giving whatever you need to give, you're investing in it, and you expect also the other party to give back. But it looks like you have to be incredibly careful and manage your expectations, because there seems to be some treacherous behavior from the other party. Initiation between the Seven of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. Strength between the Knight of Pentacles and the Three of Swords. And the last one, slow down between the Knight of Cups and the Ace of Swords. I think these two decks not only share a very similar color palette and a very similar art style, they really communicate well with each other. It doesn't seem to be a difficult kind of communication. It seems to be flowing really well. I actually really like this pairing, so it was again the Connected and Free Oracle with the Bindor deck by Leo Pantea. The next deck that I'm going to use as a pairing for the Connected and Free Oracle is the Lion Strider Tarot by Shola Thompson. Apologies if the name is not pronounced correctly. I believe that the Lion Strider has got a very similar vibe to the Bindor deck. We can find the same play between absence in the absence of color and presence in the presence of splashes of color. We can find the same use of watercolor together with the line work. We can also find the same use of the watercolor in such a way that it creates the lines between the subjects in the cards, as opposed to using the continuous line to contain the color. I think that they also might share a very similar kind of vibe. The Bindor deck, if you're not familiar with it, was conceived during a stay of the creator in Iceland. Therefore, it does feel, it does give you that kind of feeling of ice and fire, which is amazing, by the way. If you've never been to Iceland, please do yourself a favor and go. It's one of my favorite places on earth, and I do travel a lot. So the Lion Strider gives me the kind of vibe of echoes and resonances that we've seen in the Bindor deck. But let's have a look at how it pairs up with the Oracle Connected and Free. So in this case, we've got slow down between the King of Wands and the Eight of Swords. Perhaps the cage that you build around yourself, that you feel that is trapping you, is of your own making, because you need to slow down. You have this kind of presence, you have this kind of fiery energy you are mastering, but you still need to take it easy in order to realize that you can actually escape from this cage that is keeping you there. Embrace between the Six of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. We've got this sense of triumph, of victory, of elation in the achievement of what you set out to do. Embrace this feeling, embrace this power that you feel you have right now, but don't forget that you did achieve it for a reason. You achieved it because you used your skills together with others in a team. Conflicts between the Seven of Wands and the Ten of Wands, that goes without saying, and we see this kind of standing up for yourself, this kind of, you know, being the only one against everyone else. There is definitely this sense of conflict in the fiery energy of the Wands, which we have 2 cards of, and at the end, the fact that you're standing up for yourself against everyone else in this conflict can make you feel as if you're taking up too much of this load on your shoulders. Mentor, this by the way is one of my favorite cards. So mentor between the Two of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. Use this partnership and recognize that yes, you do have skills, but the other person can have different skills that can actually complement your own. So if you actually use this partnership in a productive way, you will be able to give and take. Healer between the Ace of Cups and the Four of Wands. Form this partnership that you have, this new partnership that you have. Use the healing side of it in order to form a strong alliance and celebrate it. Decisions between the Five of Swords and the Queen of Cups. Be careful in the situation that is around you at this moment. It feels like you need to take a decision, but you're not in a good position to do that. Perhaps there's someone cheating, there's someone stabbing you in the back. Seek some introspection into the situation. See it in a different way. Listen to your heart. What is your heart telling you to do? Abundance between the Five of Wands and the Two of Swords. Can I just spare a second to say that 99.99% of my oracle decks have the word or the keyword abundance in them, which is absolutely fine, and I absolutely love it because the word abundance is such a positive word. But every time I see it, I think, okay, how many times have I seen the word abundance today? So it's a bit okay, another word, another abundance card. So in this case, it's between the Five of Wands and the Two of Swords. It seems like this kind of conflict that you're in is a bit of a pillow fight, because at the end of the day, you do share some kind of an abundance, even though it feels like you're still stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you're not willing to take a decision. You cannot see the road ahead of you. It seems to be telling you, but don't forget that you have so much. Communication between the World and the Ace of Swords. Confirmation between the Ace of Wands and the King of Cups. Final step between the Moon and the Four of Swords. It seems like in this situation you need to take a step back. This final step needs to be a step towards rest. You need to find your own energy back, and you need to use it and perhaps be recharged by the light of the moon, which is a light of introspection. It's not as clear-cut as the light of the sun. It's not a black and white kind of, it's made out of shades and different meaning, different messages. Sometimes they are cryptic, and you have to reflect, you have to do some kind of meditation in order to achieve clarity. So these two, I feel it's a very good pairing as well. I thought I would have received the same kind of vibe from the line strider that I received from the Bindor deck. Perhaps we're looking at a different kind of energy. However, I do believe that both of them pair really well with the Connected and Free Oracle. The next deck that I'm going to pair up with the Connected and Free is the Curious Travels Tarot deck by ROCR. This deck is one of my favorite. The color palette is amazing. It goes from muted colors to vibrant ones. Many cards, I think almost all of them, have this, I don't know if you can see, but this is actually matte gold. Splashes of gold every now and then, and it's just really beautiful. The artwork is also very beautiful. It's got this kind of a graphic novel feel to it. It does not share, I feel, the same color palette or artwork of the Connected and Free, but I do believe that they have a very similar kind of carefree sort of vibe. So I just wanted to try them on together and see how they communicate, how they talk to each other. So we've got Surrender between the Hermit and the King of Pentacles. Perhaps you need to, in your moment of introspections where you step away from it all and you take a good look at yourself, you need to surrender to what you achieve during this meditation, this time of meditation, in order to get back into your connection and your being at once with nature and with the community. This is such a beautiful card, the Soul Knowing in the Connected and Free Oracle. The Soul Knowing between the Five of Swords and the Ace of Wands. Deep down in your soul, you actually had this connection. You knew that you were not in a positive situation. You had to remove yourself from it, but you were the victim in this kind of treason, and it seems to be telling you that you need to be confident again, but you need to start something anew. You need to have that kind of power represented by the fiery energy of the Suit of Wands. The masculine between the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Cups. I think that you couldn't even plan it if you wanted to. The masculine energy that comes out from these knights. The knights are, in the court cards, are the characters of intense emotion. There's also emotion in the sense of movement. It seems to be telling you that the masculine is to be this balance between the suit of the mind and the suit of the heart. Basically, you can be a good soldier, you can be a good warrior, but you cannot just be in your brain. You also needs to be in your heart. Resistance between Temperance and the Empress. Instincts between the World and the Nine of Swords. It's beautiful. Pleasure and pain between the Seven of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. You need to be able to choose between all these things that are not offered to you. Not all of them the correct choice. Not all of the keys that are in front of you are going to be good for you. So maybe go back to take a step back and reconnect with nature, with the nurturing side of the Suit of Pentacles, which is the suit of Earth. Comparison between the Six of Wands and the Ten of Swords. Don't compare yourself to others. Yes, they may have been winning and they may have been hailed as the hero for the time being, but it looks as if you're down in this moment, but you have the possibility to step up again, to rise up again. High flying between the Queen of Wands and the Hierophant. endings, between strength and justice. I feel like these cards have a good way to communicate to each other. Perhaps not as good as a combination as the Lion Strider and the Bindor deck were. But it's still a really good match. So birth between the Seven of Swords and the Star. And one more. We've got Heart between Judgment and the Five of Cups. That's such a beautiful message there. So we've got these pairings between the Oracle Connected and Free and the Curious Travels Tarot deck by ROCR. The next deck, tarot deck that I'm going to try out as a pairing for the Connected and Free Oracle is the Tarot of the Holy Spectrum. And this is the Infinity Edition, as you can see from the mirror backs. These two decks share a similar color palette in the sense that they have the same vibrancy in the colors, which is just to be seen in this edition of the Tarot of the Holy Spectrum. I do have the first or the original edition, and I did notice the saturation was increased in the production of this version. So I was thinking that perhaps these two could pair well together, but let's have a look. So we've got strength between the Page of Swords and the Queen of Cups. Initiation between the Three of Wands and the Three of Swords. Now it's interesting because it seems to be telling you that the Three of Wands is the card of the initiation, in the sense that the Three of Wands is the card in which you have been planning, you have been realizing in the Two of Wands that whatever is on offer for you is just a too small world for you. The world that you have in front of you is just not enough. You really have to expand your horizon. Therefore, there is this step, the first step towards something new and unknown, and that could represent the initiation. But you need to be careful of not overthinking it, not being too much trapped in a cage of your own mind. Now, I read the numerology says that the 3 is the card of growth. To me, the growth in the suit of the mind is the overthinking, the over-worrying. It's as if after the growth of the 2, which brings 2 elements you need to decide upon, and you cannot get to any kind of decision in the 2 of Swords. This has represented for you a defeat. So there's something to be seen in here. Expectations between the 4 of Wands and the 8 of Wands. There's this kind of fiery energy that goes on in the use of the Suit of Wands. In the tarot, there is reflected in the use of the red, for example, of the expectation card. And again, these are more or less the same colors. You do have the kind of fuchsia and purple connected together in these 2 cards, and you got a recall of the orange and the red in this card. I think it's very beautiful communication. It's a very beautiful flow of messages coming and going. So we've got healing between the 10 of Wands and the 4 of Cups. After you've taken on so much, you definitely need some time to recharge your batteries. Otherwise, you won't have everything around you will look like it's boring to you. It will not sound appealing to you if you do not have enough energy. Communication between the 2 of Wands and the 2 of Cups. Again, there's this kind of resonance between the numerological aspects of these 2 suits, so the suit of fire and the suit of water. And the communication is, by excellence, is the card of communication. And communication is this reflecting, reinforcing this message. So the duality of the choose is mirrored in the duality of the communication. You need to have 2 voices and 2 and you know, in 4 years to have a conversation. Stand still between the World and the Ace of Cups. Again, it's incredible. Particularly the color palette is exactly the same. There's no much resonance when it comes to the artwork, I believe, but imagine if this were borderless, not that I would want to trim the borders in this one. I actually believe that the borders are there for a reason in this particular deck. But if this were, you know, full bleed without borders, it would be a continuous kind of explosion of colors, and they're so vibrant and intense. So be you between the Knight of Swords and the High Priestess. Family between the Awakening, which is Judgment, and the Three of Cups. Family and the Three of Cups, which is a reinforcing card with the Awakening. So awaken to the needs of others, awaken to the feelings of the others in your family, in your community, in your friendship, in your tribe. Beginnings between the Ace of Swords and the Devil. And I have to say that the Infinity edition of the Tarot of the Holy Spectrum, they went back to the first edition of the original version, which is the Devil without all the messages here, which is in the second original edition, and I actually prefer it. I know that it can be said that this let's say more basic, more simple Devil gives you the opportunity to give your own interpretation to this card, but the way I see the Devil is exactly how it is depicted in the other version, with all the keywords, and the keywords just for you to know if you don't know that deck. For example, you're not enough, you can't do it, give up. I really like the vibe of this Devil anyway, because of the fluorescent kind of green. Green is for envy, so on the one hand I can definitely see the shame, but this Devil is probably more talking about the kind of the aspect of the envy that talks about this card, that is reflected in this card. So slow down, Witch's Nails between the Sun and the King of Cups. You have reached the kind of wholeness and the kind of peace that you've been fighting for, so you can actually slow down now and enjoy the feelings of being part of a community. The last one, Embrace between the King of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands. Such a beautiful pairing. I had no idea these two would have been so good together. It goes without saying that it's not always aesthetics that you know, make it or break it in a combination between two decks. Most of the time it's a combination again of colors, color palette, artwork, light work, vibes, energy, messages. But when two communicate this well between each other, then you know, it's a match made in heaven. So this is again the Oracle Connected and Free, and I've paired it with the Tarot of the Holy Spectrum Infinity Edition. And the last deck that I'm going to pair up with the Connected and Free Oracle is the Wild Unknown Tarot. And the reason why I think these two may match is because they do share a similar vibe. They share this also a similar kind of structure. You've got the same kind of white borders that you know, are the same kind of white, the same tonality of white, of the absence of color inside the cards themselves, which is exactly what happens here in the Connected and Free. But it's also because the Wild Unknown has got this, shares a similar vibe to the Lumina Tarot, which is the tarot deck by the same author as the Connected and Free Oracle. So let's have a look at how they communicate with each other. We got decisions between the Tower and the Empress. We've got Healer between the Devil and the Five of Pentacles. I really love the fact that we've got the same type of line work, the same use of colors. So the mentor between the Sun and the Six of Pentacles. Conflict between the Star and the Seven of Pentacles. Now the Wild Unknown is a pippish kind of a deck, which is absolutely fine. It is a very famous deck. Opportunity between the Fool and the Ace of Pentacles. Embrace that new beginning that is presented, and embrace the kind of carefree attitude that the Fool seems to signify. In order to embark upon this new adventure, this new perhaps this new journey into the realm of nature that is represented by the Ace of Pentacles, which is the suit of Earth. It could also be referring to an opportunity in a new opportunity in a career, for example. And we've got endings between the Ace of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. Birth between the Lovers and the Nine of Pentacles. This union, this duality represented by the Lovers, can give birth to the abundance that you're seeking if you use it well. Feeling and form between the Chariot and the Three of Pentacles. Higher knowledge between Justice and the Ten of Pentacles. Look at the similar colors that are used, for example, between the oranges, the yellows, and the reds at the foliage behind the owl, which is exactly the same kind of color palette we see in the center of the Ten of Pentacles, and then is also recalled by the rays that seem to emanate from the center of the Justice card. And we've got Fear between Strength and the Daughter of Pentacles. And the last card. So we end up with my favorite card, which is the card of Responsibility between the Two of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles. Now, this was a pairing between the Connected and Free Oracle and the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Kranz. Thank you for watching until the end. If you like this video, it is one of many that I'm going to upload, in which I'm going to explore the possibilities of pairing up an oracle card with several different tarot decks. And so if you want to see more of this, please consider subscribing to my channel. More to come. Have a great day.